Yeah. So that's, I guess, how FasciaBlaster was born.
Oh my gosh, it was such a longer process, but I'll give you the chunks of it. So the first thing I had to do was heal myself. And so through kitchen tools, hands, by that point, I started doing some acupuncture and I started to understand that we were all talking about the same thing. The people who were talking about the meridians in Chinese medicine were talking about nadis in yoga and, all this traditional stuff like myofascial triggers and things that are a little more Western. I was like, we're all tracking the same thing, right? So I basically made it so simple. I opened my tissue and then I strengthened the tissue. And that really is all that you have to do in the orthopedic lane. You got to remodel that tissue so that it functions and then make yourself strong. So that's what happened first. Then a chiropractor who was working on me in my little Texas town, he was like, excuse me, why are you walking, basically? And he's like, do it to me. I want to understand. And he was like, Ashley, nobody's doing this. And he's like, I want you to work on my athletes. And he was the chiropractor for like a lot of pro athletes. And this was in Texas at the time that the Texans started a franchise. Mm-hmm. I got one football player. And this is like 3 months into my career of making this up, right? He put my card in every single locker. And from there, I just started teaching other people the methods and ended up with 7 clinics, 72 practitioners. And what we realized is that the fascia work is tiring, particularly on an NFL, NBA, like these massive guys. And we were like, we need to invent something or find, of course, we tried to find stuff that could open the tissue so that we could do kind of like a sports massage. And it started with knuckles, but that's exhausting. And so we were like, man, we need something like this, but with leverage. And that's where the FasciaBlaster came from.
So cool.
It was just necessity breeds invention.
Yeah. Yeah. And near-death experiences and divine intuition downloads. But I just love it because I feel like it's the proof is in the pudding. You healed yourself. Chiropractor had you do it. He was like, boom, this is kind of the missing link. And it started working on athletes. And like, so, if someone looks you up, there may still be some like residual negativity on like someone trying to cancel you or some.
Oh, yeah.
Which, people doing, that happens to a lot of people I know in this healing
Don't
world,
do something
right?
big.
Yeah. But you're just following the breadcrumbs and like really wanting to help
Absolutely.
people.
For me, I felt like I was America's little sweetheart. I was like, I have figured out how to remodel this tissue. I've invented a tool that people can use on themselves. And then, you sell a couple of $1 million, nobody cares. Sell $40 million, go on the Today Show, do a TED Talk and start making noise. And, that's when it happens. And I don't think it's personal. I think that either competitors or the institution, they know the process. It's basically like you go to the IRS and, everybody in the family gets a notice that they're being audited. You invent a bunch of fake trollers online and then they pick up, angry people. And then it just becomes this echo chamber. And then lawsuits, that's the kind of stuff that happens. And at first it was like, what is happening? Like, we need to study this. Like you think it's real. Mm-hmm. And then when you continue to go through it, you go, oh, this is an attack. And for me, definitely I went through a period where I was like, this is so unfair and all of that. But once you survive something like that, you go, wow, like I'm at the big show. And it kind of becomes something that fuels you. It's like, yeah, you didn't get me.
Yeah.
Not only didn't get me, it's not so much about that. It's that the science did not slow. And, even it's so crazy when we look at fascia as a Google word. I always am looking at the trends, like the Google ranking, because it tells you what people are interested in. And the Google score was like 20 something in 2010. And then in 2017, which was when the FasciaBlaster really peaked, it was 100. Mm. And now it's in the 90s. But like, hey, we did it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about the whole thing.
Yeah, you affected that trend. That's amazing. So what you said the science didn't slow. What is the research saying that you're seeing about fascia?
It's so great because at first I felt like I was the only person on the planet that cared. But actually, there's a lot of people out there studying it. And I had the pleasure last week of being at the Global Fascia Congress. And so it was very academic. I got to meet people that I had, studied. I got to lecture with them. And it's so interesting because they are very much into what is fascia? How does it work? Like, what is its role in lipedema? How does it affect sports performance? And everything that they're doing is great. But for me, I've had to go, okay, well, who am I in this puzzle, right? Am I the scientist? I don't think so. I'm the product developer. So when I can take what they have learned in science and what I have learned in science and then design the products to piggyback the research, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. And what the science is showing is basically all good and no risk. You know what I mean? Like fascia is because it's quantum, it's constantly talking to itself. So if we give it an environment to heal and remodel, it will. So, we're seeing if you palpate the fascia a certain way, it releases stem cells out of the stem cell reservoirs. That's not my research, it's someone else's. We're seeing that if you do 10 to 15 minutes of fascia work pre-performance, that we're getting 28 times the muscle output,
Wow.
And then in my own research, we were like, let's send it. Let's just look at everything. So we had a basic protocol of people using my tools on themselves, 15 to 20 minutes on their legs, 3 to 5 times a week. And then we just looked at everything. And what we saw was that tissue remodeling, which by the way that's the ultimate thing. Like once tissue remodels back to native and supple, you're done. It doesn't get better than that. So we saw that in 90 days. We also saw a decrease in inflammation, which I'm sure you've done a million shows about, what inflammation does at the systemic level in the blood. We saw an increase of collagen production. We saw an increase of irisin, depending on where you live, which is the exercise hormone and the longevity hormone. It's correlated with the telomeres, So it's just, for me, I look at fascia care and even my instruments or whatever tools or stretching or whatever you're doing for it, it's a daily thing. It's a brush your hair, brush your teeth, brush your fascia. And it really should be that way.